Hi there, Martina. Let's check out your new set of essays. The first one is about fathers staying at home while women go to work. Let's see what you said. The traditional belief that men are breadwinners and women should take care of children is no longer true in the modern era. Experts, you wanted a plural here, throughout both the developing and developed world have debated over causes and possible impacts of this. There are several causes, and I believe this evolution has a positive effect on the whole population. In this essay, I will explain my opinion. I will support it with examples. All right, that's lovely. Good. There is ample evidence that the trend of fathers staying at home and taking care of their children has many positive outcomes and should be treated as progress. This transformation could happen thanks to, I don't know about could happen. This transformation, how about maybe happening? Because it's something currently happening. So this feels just a little awkward to me. So this transformation may be happening thanks to the equal rights movement. It has become normal for women to gain qualifications and pursue a career instead of preparation for marriage, which enhances the capability of the women's workforce apostrophe S. Okay. In addition, the rise in cost of living has meant that both marriage partners usually need to work and save money, and this decision is often based on mutual understanding of the couples, and the one who has a higher earning potential decides to work to support the increasing expenses of the family. Okay, for example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that the number of families who had made this role exchange rose from 3 to 18% over the last 20 years. Therefore, it's conclusively clear that the current picture of the family has undertaken the long process of evolution in which the changes in social belief gave rise to this development, not gave chance. That doesn't sound quite right to me. The changes in social belief gave rise to this development. That sounds better. And financial commitments contributed to this course. Okay, so you're saying that the reasons are a combination of financial commitments and the equal rights movement. Okay, that was very clear. So I know from the beginning, maybe this could have been rephrased a little bit. Rather than saying that there is ample evidence, etc., that has positive outcomes and should be treated as progress, maybe you could have said that, basically just like a rephrasing of this. So similar to what you had here. Because if you think about the template, the first sentence of the paragraph and the last sentence of the paragraph have to more or less mirror each other. So this sentence for me doesn't really feel like it's completely appropriate here. So you could have had something more like there are a couple of major reasons, or there are a couple of major factors which have contributed to the rise in fathers staying home while women go out to work. Okay. And then you could have said something like one reason for this transformation could be thanks to the equal rights movement. So something like that, because I'm not really truly convinced that this first sentence was absolutely appropriate. The rest of the paragraph I thought was very good. I thought you developed well, accurate, so fine. Let's look at your next paragraph. Although the conversion of roles in a family could be a controversial topic in several countries, there is ample evidence that this shift is beneficial. All right, that's good. The central reason behind this is threefold. It's really in your best interest to stick to, two reasons, but just make sure that you develop them well. When you go above two, what ends up happening is it's difficult in the time that you have to develop these ideas well. And so it ends up reading more like a list than a paragraph. So my advice is to stick to two, and that's pretty much it. And just develop those well. Let's see. Firstly, women have a different point of view and can contribute to scientific breakthroughs. Okay, what do you mean? How is that related to men staying at home and staying home with the children? So I don't understand that. Secondly, there are occupations such as the garment industry where women have better performance, not performances, singular, and therefore make a higher profit. Okay. Thirdly, it also has a crucial impact on women's position in society. Even family, Even the family bond is much stronger when fathers are more involved in raising a child. For instance, if men stay at home, the majority of them would realize that being a mom is a demanding job and they would not take women's care for granted. Consistent with this line of thinking is that men would more appreciate their female relatives. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that this ensures that we live in an era where women are rewarded as they should be and someone is not deprived of a great career or a big opportunity only because of her gender. This last sentence is great. I really like this. It was complex, it was advanced, it was accurate, it was really, really good. Really good. That's an example of a complex sentence that was done very successfully. Unfortunately, what I warned you about in the beginning when I saw this threefold is pretty much exactly what happened. You spent a ton of time really going into detail about your third point. These other two really just read like a list. So it was absolutely in your best interest to just pick one of these and go with it and develop it. Okay? Also, you didn't really talk about what this means for the man who stays at home. And I see this happening a lot. Everyone keeps talking about the woman and what this means for the woman, and that she gets to have this great career and she gets to do this and that, and so forth. But what about the man? What does this mean for the man? What does this mean for the children? Okay, who are being raised by fathers? How could this be positive for them, and how could it be positive for men? So that's something else that I think is worthwhile and important to focus on, that I've found a lot of people neglect to focus on when they're doing this essay. So there's a lot of focus on the women, but that's not entirely a good idea, because it says these fathers are staying home while women go out to work. So you also need to focus on them as well. Okay. So like I said before, though, I would have changed this whole section. I would have picked one idea and really just developed it further, giving it support, explaining what you meant, giving it some topic development. And then maybe you could have taken away something from this. Like here, for example, they appreciate their female relatives. How do you know that? How relevant is that? Okay. So I think you could have left that out. Yeah, I think that that's a sentence that felt, I don't want to say completely off topic, because I understood what you were saying, but I think this was far more on topic, that being a mother is a demanding job and not to take women's care for granted. So get rid of this about the female relatives, because one could argue that, well, men should be appreciating their female relatives anyway. And then you should have just focused more on this. So that's some information about this paragraph. Okay, so to conclude from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the tendency that males have the main role at home should be promoted, because it not only benefits the family but also contributes to social development and gender equality. It is predicted that more families will make a similar decision and will adopt this progressive change in convention. I don't know about this in convention, but okay. I liked this. I liked this in many ways, Martina. I thought you did a good job. I thought you had some really lovely examples of grammar and of vocabulary. That was all very good. The things that I want you to be aware of are basically the things that I mentioned for task response. Okay. And a little bit of coherence and cohesion, because we already talked about this sentence, okay, that it wasn't entirely appropriate there, and we talked about this paragraph and how you could have developed it a little differently. Okay, so those are the things I want you to kind of take away from this essay, but on the whole I liked many elements of it. Let's take a look at your letter to the moving company. Dear Sir or Madam, I'm writing to express my dissatisfaction with your service. Lowercase y here. In all the times you're writing your. This isn't appropriate here, this capital Y. Okay, so I'm writing to express my dissatisfaction with your service. I had chosen your company for the transportation of my furniture from City, Manchester to York. Well, you could have just said from Manchester to York, not City, so get rid of City. The date of transport was the 21st of February. I would like to complain especially about the behavior of employees. Due to the careless handling of my household items, some of them were mangled even before setting off the journey itself. Okay, I think you needed an on here before setting off on the journey, but setting off is a phrasal verb, and these tend to be perceived as being a little more informal. So, in a formal letter, it's better to avoid this kind of language and just use vocabulary, other for words that maybe seem more formal. So for example, before beginning the journey would have been fine. So several of them were mangled even before beginning the journey itself. In addition, I noticed my pieces of furniture were not fastened correctly by straps in a van, and after polite reminding to your employees, it turned out they did not speak English. Overall, my wardrobe and dining table were damaged to the extent that doors of the wardrobe cannot be closed properly because a frame is, you mean something different here, I don't know, not tamed, and the legs of the table have broken anchor bolts, and therefore it is impossible to assemble the table. Okay, here I wanted a little better cohesion. Look at this sentence: table, table, table. So I think you needed to kind of rephrase this just a little bit, make it flow a little better. Let's see. So overall, my wardrobe was damaged to the extent that its doors cannot be closed properly because the frame was broken or something. Okay. And as for my dining room table, its legs have broken anchor bolts, and therefore it is impossible to assemble. Full stop. Okay, so you can see that I used different ways of creating cohesion here without having to repeat the word wardrobe and having to repeat the word table. Okay, let's move on. Given the circumstances, compensation is my principal concern. Oh, what a nice sentence. According to the insurance agreement, I am entitled to a full refund. The documents summarizing the price of damaged items are attached. Moreover, I would ask you to investigate the matter thoroughly to ensure this does not arise in the future with other customers. Your staff should be trained in technical aspects of transportation. They put not only your profit at risk. All right, this is awkward because you're not supposed to start a sentence with but. I think these two should have been one sentence here. So they put not only your profit at risk, but what is more important, by responsible manners, the safety on our roads is endangered too. Okay, I don't know about this irresponsible manners. That feels a little awkward as an expression. By irresponsible behavior, I think would have been better. Okay, so let's try that again. They put not only your profit at risk, but what is more important, by irresponsible behavior, the safety on our roads is endangered too. Good. Furthermore, I would like to recommend you, first of all, I would like to recommend that you consider the importance of local language, which is crucial for cooperation with customers without the. Okay, fine. So I liked this. There were a lot of areas that, again, showed some really lovely advanced language. You did very well with that. But some little grammar things that you just need to be aware of, and little vocabulary things as well. On the whole, though, it was a good set. It was a solid set. You will get an extra set of essays, so you can begin them, okay? And let's see how you do with them. Good luck.